the hearing today. I'm going to go ahead now and just get everyone checked in. So I see we have a Jess Evans.
Yep.
Could you tell me who you're representing here today?
I'm representing Dance Factory Fitness, and I'm a tenant at 6011 Madison Road, directly across the street.
Got it. All right, welcome. See, we have, looks like Ron Novak. Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, David?
Not bad. It's drawing, right?
Yeah, it's drawing department.
Okay. Welcome.
And Andrew Glasser on here from drawing department.
Gotcha. Okay. Welcome to each of you. I see we have William Carroll. William, welcome back.
Good morning. Good morning. My son and I are the owner and developer of 6011 Madison Road, directly across the street. I'm glad to see Jess Evans. Our very exciting first floor tenant is attending the meeting as well.
Great. Fantastic. Welcome, guys. Looks like Patrick Haig. Patrick Haig, are you there? Mr. Haig, if you're with us, if you could unmute.
Can you hear us now?
I can, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm here with my partner, Tom McKenna. We're owners, operators of Ally Bakery, and we'll be the end user for 6012.
Got it. Okay. Do you guys plan on providing any testimony here today, or just observing?
Just observing.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome. All right. Let's see. Mr. Novak, do you expect anyone else to join us here today?
No, I do not.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we will jump right into it. So this is the April 5th, 2023 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner. The case before us today is case number ZH20230027. That's 6012 Madison Road. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. I will then give anyone from the public an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that argument in opposition. Then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. So for our purposes here today, I'll give the folks from the drawing department an opportunity to tell me about the project, why they think the requested relief is appropriate, why I should grant that relief. I'll then go to all the various members of the public, which I think just includes today the tenant from 6011 and the two owners from 6011. I'll give you guys an opportunity to weigh in. Ms. Evans, I think I already got an email from you too this afternoon, which will of course become a part of the record, and I'll add it to the official case record. But I'll give you an opportunity to speak here if you would like. And then I'll go back to Mr. Novak if he'd like to respond to anything that's been said or offer any closing remarks. I'll give him that opportunity at that time. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony. That's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present at this hearing here today. In the event of any technical difficulties, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. Last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really just doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. If you're not sure yet, if you want to, I can always swear you in later on before you want to speak. But if you know you'd like to provide something today, I'd like to swear you all in collectively right now. So if that's you, if you could take yourself off mute, I need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I will.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thanks, everyone. All right. Mr. Novak, are you going to be taking the lead on this, or will it be Mr. Glass?
I think we both might offer some illumination to the project, so I'll probably take lead, and he might interject some things along the way.
Sounds good. Floor is yours.
So, all right. Well, thanks for hearing us today. We are here because our client, Patrick and Don Malay Bakery, is renovating a building to become a retail outlet for their baked goods, and it's also going to be a bar restaurant. And as such, with the T5 MS zone and the uses that we're proposing, we need to come in front of you to talk about what we have in mind, and the fact that we're going to have liquor and we're going to have outdoor dining. There's a patio between some buildings, and we want to occupy that. So we're here to talk about that, and because conditionally we need to do that. And so we put in an application that illuminated sort of our hours of operations for the week. We are a morning place into the evening. So essentially our hours of operation are from 7 a.m. to 9 or 10 p.m., depending on the day of the week, with, Friday and Saturdays pushing that 10 p.m. and the rest of the days of the week pushing till 9. Mondays is a time of recuperation and sort of reloading the stock because they're going to sell all their stuff through the week. So, we feel that this use is compatible with the neighborhood, the land use, and sort of the building structures and patterns of the neighborhood. And so we're here simply because this is our use, and the zoning requires us to come before you in the first place. So that's really why we're here.
Gotcha. Okay. And so can you talk a little bit more about neighborhood compatibility? So this is, well, could you tell me how close is this to the nearest residential district?
Let me see if I can get you a exact dimension on that.
And let me just preface this by saying, I understand that this is right in that strip in Madisonville of commercial, which I think it's totally appropriate to be there. But could you talk a little bit more about any potential impacts on, in particular, an outdoor patio with alcohol sales, on any noise issues with the nearby residential?
Well, I think the first part of that I would say is that our hours of operation, I think, align more appropriately with that of a residential sort of neighborhood than that of a commercial sort of use that you might see in more urban situations, or even like in over the Rhine, where you can push an outdoor activity event till, midnight or 2 a.m. in some cases. So, in that regard, I think our users and their operation keep sort of a cool patio vibe, and it isn't also a bar. This is a bakery and a restaurant first. We just happen to sell liquor because they want to make it, more than the typical bakery. They want it to be a serious food-driven, curated culinary experience, and this provides them the best ability to do that. So also our patio, it is the resultant space that is left between the buildings, which are 0 lot line properties, and those buildings are limited in their ability to have windows on the sides of the property line until you're 3 feet away from most property lines. So most of the buildings that exist, even in proximity to our patio, it's a solid block or brick wall, a masonry wall. It's not a house with windows and stuff like that in it. So I think our use of exterior is there simply so that we can extend our season and have more of a dining ability, but it's not our primary focus. Our primary focus is bringing people into the bakery and blowing them away inside of that with our service and our hospitality. We have an outdoor patio. People are going to be there, but it is more of the resultant space that we wanted to bring light in the side of the building. So there's a big garage door that opens to it that allows the fresh air in, again, being less of a atypical commissary bakery that you would normally encounter in an urban situation. Is that helpful?
Okay.
And there won't be any,
good.
there will not be any, live performances out on that patio either. This isn't a bar. This is a patio just to be able to embrace nature and get more light and bring the inside out.
Sure. And so could you tell me again where the location is? Is it on the far, I guess, will that be the north side of the property line?
I don't know what graphics you might be looking at on, on
I'm looking
612,
looking
but
through your
is,
drawings now.
Andy, do you have those handy by chance?
Yeah, so it's planned north on the drawings, but it's actually the east side of the building. On the sheet, north is to the left.
Mr. Russ, do you have those on your computer right now?
Yeah, I do.
Like, are you looking at them?
Yes.
Could you share your screen? Just cursor it out for me.
I will try to. Let me, 1 second.
Sorry, we got a
How's that?
couple plumbers here today that are talking, so if there's too much interference, I apologize.
I also had issues signing in on my computer, so I'm just signed in on my phone. So let me sign in on my computer.
Okay. I mean, if you can't, I can pull it up and you can just sort of tell me where to look. Let's try that.
I can share.
You guys see
David.
the screen?
I have it here too. Yep, that's done.
Okay.
We can see that.
Which drawing should I be looking at here? To outline the patio.
That one. That
Okay.
drawing right there.
All right. And so this is Madison over here on the right.
That is correct. Madison is on the right-hand side of this drawing. The top side of this drawing is east. North is to the left.
Right.
And so the patio resides on the east side of our property. And it is captured by the building and the adjacent building.
Oh, so it's here.
That is correct. Where that poche that looks like gravel is, that's our patio.
Got it. Okay. All right. And let's see, I guess my question is,
There's one more thing I'd like to mention about that patio is, the back of our building has a loading dock on it and a garage door to receive deliveries. The patio extends to the rear of our property, which allows our patrons that are parking behind to get into the building from the side of it, also coming that way.
okay. All right. That's all the questions I have for right now. Anything else for Mr. Glass or Novak before I let the members of the public offer some testimony? Okay, hearing none, I will see if Ms. Evans would like to offer anything at this point.
I'd just like to say, I think that this project would be a huge asset and benefit to my clients specifically. I have a very large following of mostly female between the ages of 20 and really up to 60. And I'm directly across the street. And I think it would just be a real big benefit to be able to have a place where they can come and take a workout class, and then they could walk across the street, have a bite to eat, meet a friend, meet a significant other, have a cocktail outside. And I think it would be a really big asset to the entire community, not just my business, but I know that I have a lot of clientele that would really enjoy having an experience there and it being so close to where they work out every day.
Sure, absolutely, that makes sense. Anything else, Ms. Evans?
I don't think so. I'm just excited to have a lay across the street. I think like I said, I think it'll be really, really great. And I know my clients will really love it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for being here and thank you for that perspective.
Yeah.
Mr. Carroll, did you want to offer anything?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to welcome Patrick to the neighborhood. We could not be more excited about the multifaceted, offerings he's going to have. Our development across the street will have 7 high-end apartments above Jess's space, and Jess has really got a great business with hundreds of clients already in tow. And we just think it's going to be wonderful to have. It's Patrick, I guess, right? Patrick is still on across the street, so couldn't be more supportive. And Patrick, if we can be of any assistance to you, let us know. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Mr. Carroll. All right. Let's see. It looks like we did have the two gentlemen from LA that were sworn in. Did you want to add anything else?
Um, I mean, if there's any other questions that we could answer or address from you or any of the, our neighbors, we'd be happy to. We've been working on this for a number of years now, and working with the city. The Port Authority has been involved, and it's been kind of a long road to hoe here. But as a current resident of Madisonville and as a born and raised there, family still lives there. I think seeing kind of the changes that are happening in the neighborhood, we hope to be a part of those, in a positive way, and contribute, as much as we can to the neighborhood, whether that's helping be an anchor for the farmers market that they're looking to put together, or participate in street festivals. I mean, honestly, there's just like I said, as a resident there, there's not a whole lot of places to spend your money in the neighborhood, and so I feel like we lose a lot of that revenue to the surrounding neighborhoods, whether it's Madeira, Hyde Park, Kenwood, Oakley, Marymount. I mean, there's tons of things in those other neighborhoods, tons of places to go, and yet we've kind of struggled. Maybe not struggled is the word, but it's been slow. It's been a slow start on getting sort of the commercial redevelopment of Madisonville going, and we'd be really honored to be a part of that moving forward.
Okay, great. Thank you, Patrick. Assuming you're Patrick.
Yeah, that's my partner, Tom.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you for the testimony. And I agree with a lot of what you said there. Okay. I think the only question I have outstanding is just to reiterate, you don't think that you're going to be using the outdoor space past 10 o'clock, is that right? And let me just tell you what's going through my head right now. When you grant these for a piece of property, these allowances, these conditional uses, they run with the land. So for instance, if you were to leave and to go somewhere else and another tenant were to move in, or someone else were to move in, they would have the same permissions. And so if they decided that they wanted to stay open later, there wouldn't be anything stopping them from that. So sometimes I'll put like a condition on this approval, so it's approved, but if only to a certain time, or if you were to leave, that a new tenant would have to come in and get approval again, something like that. I mean, would you have, and I know Ron's more familiar with this, would you have any objection to that, or do you have any thoughts on conditioning this to make sure that if a non-bakery wanted to move in, that you wouldn't have any issues out there with noise?
Let me say something real quick, just because I've gone through this hundreds of times. Normally I see it that if you guys cease to operate there, then it reverts back to anyone else that would come in with an outdoor use would need to present to the city in the same fashion that we are today. I've seen that happen before, so that there's no risk associated with that. I've also seen it as whatever, let's say the zoning requirements or allowances are that are holistic. Let's say you were allowed to have outdoor entertainment until say 11 p.m. on weekdays and midnight on weekends. I've seen that applied in this case, even though you guys have shorter operating hours, so that if and when it transferred, it just aligns with what the rest of the neighborhood is doing already, and you're not an exception to that. So that's what I can tell you. I've seen it happen two ways with that. So I guess I would ask David, given the hours that we suggested that, we're going to push till 10 o'clock or so, have you seen other folks in the neighborhood go for 11 or midnight or something like that? And I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I can't recall myself. I've been doing this for about 3 years. I can't recall having any projects in Madisonville asking for extended outdoor entertainment hours. beyond what was already permitted. So I mean, I've obviously done it all over the city, but I can't think of any in this particular area that have had requests. And what I'm suggesting is, if I put some restriction on the amount of hours you could stay open, do you think that could, inhibit your ability to operate successfully and
No, I don't think so. I think that the time that we would definitely like to go for would be like 11 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays, just to allow, one potential we have is with the spaces for a buyout with, like, say a party of like a large size, and they want to be there a little bit longer. That'll give us a little bit more time for them. It's just on the weekends, with the weeknights, say 10 o'clock. That would be the latest. I mean, me personally, I don't want to be there that late. I mean, I know I got a job to do, but like, I want to be home. So I don't think that would prevent us from operating as a functioning bar or restaurant that isn't like just there to be a bar.
Well, and I think a big part of what our success is going to look like is sort of ingratiating ourselves with our neighbors. I think if we start to, do things that the neighbors or the neighborhood aren't happy with, we're going to hear about it. And I feel like that would be kind of a self-correcting problem on their end. Like we're kind of the first thing kind of coming in that's like this. I think we're trying to be as cognizant as possible about making sure that we enter the neighborhood and make sure that they know that we're here to be neighbors and not just an interloper.
So if I was going to state it another way, based on what Patrick and Tom offered, I would say in our application, we said that their hours of operation was Monday was closed, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. They said they were going to be open till 9. We would like that to be 10 p.m. instead. And Friday and Saturday, we would like it to be 11 p.m. rather than 10 p.m.
Sure.
Yeah,
Just so that it's in record.
Yeah, and I don't think those would be normal. I think that gives us the allowance to utilize the space in a little bit more of a dynamic way in case we do have, a private party that wants to rent out or things like that.
Yeah, I get that, and let me take a look at it. I think, just based on my experience in other areas that are similar, that I've even given greater allowances than that. So I can tell you that I'll give you at least those hours. And again, my concern is not with your particular business, just based on what I've seen from the layout and from what I know about your existing businesses and bakeries in general. That's really not my concern at all. It's just that the way that the code is written and the law works, another tenant could move in after you, retain similar privileges. If there aren't any restrictions, they could potentially have outdoor area. Let's say if it was just a bar, they could stay out in the outdoor area much later if those restrictions were not put in. So it really is just thinking like long term. But like I said, I don't want to handicap you guys in on those more rare occasions where you want to stay open a little bit later. So let me go ahead then and say that I've had a chance to review the application materials, the staff report. I'm familiar with the area. Based on that and the testimony here today, I am going to approve the application. And so the only thing I'll do is just I'll add in those conditions with the hours, as we discussed, just to have a couple safeguards there for the neighborhood. Someone can, you can always come back too. If you'd like to extend those, you can always come back, or if a new tenant wants to extend those, they can come back. That's honestly what I'd like to see the most, is like if a new tenant comes in there, I'd like them to, and they want to stay up until 2 a.m. I'd like them to come in and sort of explain why that's a good idea. And so that's why I put those restrictions on there, but it will be approved. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. That's where you'll see the exact language for what those hours are. Once you have that, you can work with Trey Sheldon. Ron Novak knows the deal here. He can, and you can move forward on the permitting and hopefully get started soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. Any questions about any of that?
Nope.
Okay, great. Well, Thank you all again for your time and your testimony. Good luck with the business. I think you guys make great bread. Thanks for the investment in Madisonville. Hope you all have a wonderful day. We are adjourned.
Thank you, David.